I want to talk about MICROBOT.
Okay.
I want to get onto that.
Sure.
So you guys, that came off. So the Star Trek game did all right, and EA, you guys were friends with EA, and they said, "Hey, what do you got?" And we said,
"Yeah, we got involved with EA Maxis. We're working with them on another project that I don't think I'm supposed to mention yet, but we forged this relationship with them, and an opportunity came up with the same people that did the Spore game, you know, to do a game that was kind of a spiritual successor in a way to the Cell stage in Spore.
Cool.
I think that's how it generated. I don't know if that's like official, but that's how it generated. And yeah, you know, MICROBOT is an interesting one because I love the idea. I love the people. I love the game. I love the way it looks. I think there's cool stuff in there. It was really hard to make that game because literally, and this I don't think got said up until now, but you know, we literally had 4 months to make that game, and I think that's the type of game you usually have 9 to 12 months to make. I mean, I think it was 6 months in the end, but 2 of those months are, you know, the game is basically you know, creatively locked at that point, and it's just about bug fixing, testing, certification, and whatnot. So really, in the end, we had 4 months to make that game, and like a 2-week sprint to pre-produce the game, to write it out on paper and come up with the mechanics and what is this game. We may have been, you know, and I probably should take responsibility. May have been too big for our britches. Maybe we should have made a more simple game. I don't know, but I think we made the right choice. It's just in the end, I think the game could have been paced better. I just wish we had more time because, you know, when the game was over, I think we got like a small extension on our time. And I think when it was originally over, I mean, it was a pile of shit. And then in those last like 2 weeks or something, it like really came together and became a much better game.
Great.
Still, it's flawed. I think if we had another month or 2 months or something like that, I think it could have been a great game. I think the seed is there of what makes a good game. Like, I think everybody that worked on it, they're very sharp people and they're very talented. And it can be a little frustrating because you want more time, but the money is what it is, the timeline is what it is. And yeah, so I mean, I think I wish that was more well known because I think for the people that worked on the project, it's sort of like a tip of the hat in a way. Like it's pretty awesome. I think what everybody accomplished in 4 months, and I just wish we had more time. Or better yet, I wish we got to make a sequel. But will that ever happen? I don't know.
Because it wasn't a huge seller straight out the gate?
No, I don't know if it was a huge seller. I'm not really sure how it's doing, but I think it did okay. But you know, I don't think some of the reviews were great. I think people got it and saw what we were trying to do, and we were trying to make something a little bit different. We're trying to make something that wasn't your standard shoot 'em up. We're trying to make something that was more experiential and exploratory. And I think we got some of that in there. I think the people that saw that and dug it. And I encourage everybody to try it. Not just to sell copies, but because I really think it's a cool game.
It is a cool game. I really enjoyed it.
And I just wish that I'll have the opportunity to take it further sometime. And you know, again, working with EA is great. Working with Maxis is great. Though I don't think Maxis is actually credited on it, so maybe just Maxis didn't really have anything to do with it.
They do. Their name is in the credits.
Is it?
Yeah, because I just played it. I just beat it today, so I can tell you that for sure.
So yeah, but yeah, again, there's stuff in there that we tried to do that was a little bit different. Again, like Star Trek, you know, with the escape pod thing. We're trying to get certain mechanics, like having a buddy, this kind of silent buddy, the white blood cell.
That was kind of cool.
Having a game that had, you know, as little HUD as possible. Things like that.
That was pretty sweet. Getting the white blood cell to follow you, sometimes tricky.
Another week and it would have been
That's cool. No, I mean, it was such a great concept to me that I was really excited, you know, by it. I mean, who doesn't, I mean, a nanobot, you know, sorry, MICROBot. Wait, why is it a nanobot?
I think the name is taken.
Okay, cool. It's a pretty big bot, right? There's a big difference between a MICROBot and a nanobot.
But I think MICROBot is actually technically accurate.
Cool.
I think about microns in size. I think I think the size is actually correct, considering the size of a red blood cell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, it's just a great concept, you know, a ship flying around inside a human body.
Yeah, it's like Fantastic Voyage. I love Fantastic Voyage. Inner Space.
Inner Space.
So, yeah,
that's great.
It's fun.
It was a fun game, and I did not expect. I mean, there's some surprises in there. Spoiler alert. You know, when you beat what was the first what do you call them? First stage, first world, first hub.
Okay. Okay. The first world. Sure.
The first of 5 worlds.
Sure.
You know, you're a 3-armed creature, and you get to choose how you shoot and locomote, and then you become a 5-pronged creature at that point. And
the idea of MICROBot, the idea of MICROBot was like the sort of selling points are, it's a game about customization, where you can, you know, you kill things and you get their technology, and you can build your bot however you want. And there would be the creative freedom to play the game how you wanted to play it. You could be this big tank, or you could be something more defensive, or something very speedy that just kind of gets away from everything. Spore did that to great effect. And so there was that customization aspect of the game. Another was just the environment itself, using this fluid simulation. We had this model to play the fluid. I think it frustrated some people because, again, it goes back to the starting with the bang thing, but you know, you have to upgrade your movement parts in order to get better and be able to like navigate with ease. At the beginning of the game, obviously there's somewhere to go. At the beginning of the game, it might be a little frustrating. Some people liked it. Some people felt that they wanted more control off the top. And it's an interesting balance. We were trying to do something a little different. And I'm glad we went that route.
Good. I'm glad too. I was surprised. Like that, I remember reading a review from a nameless website who took the game to task for that. You know, for having a loose movement and stuff. But I played it. I was like, well, you know, you're inside a body full of fluids. It's, you know, what do you?
I mean, like I wanted it to feel like you were in a hostile environment. Despite like the Zen feeling. That you weren't where you should be. That you weren't part of this. You were a fish out of water. Does that really work gameplay wise? Well, that's debatable. But I like the idea behind it, I guess. And you definitely get to a point where you're upgraded and better. So
totally. So much so that I didn't like it. After a while, you know, I tried to get, you know, the really intense, like full on the jets. With 2 flagellums, you know, and you're basically just, you know, totally right angles and stuff. And I was kind of like, I like the kind of fluid movement, you know, kind of drifting around corners and that kind of stuff.
I wonder if that particular reviewer, if he knew where you could go with it, if he would say the same thing. I don't know, maybe.
Maybe so. I mean,
we'll have to get him on the show.
You're on next.
This interview's
tell me, so what's literally the last game you played?
The last game I played...
At all.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to beat it or anything.
Yeah, the last game I played was Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP, which rules.
Cool.
I really like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Real-time RTS, isn't that right?
No, I don't think so. It's like an old-school adventure game. It's like done in this pixel art style. It's very experiential. It's I really, really like what they're trying to do with the game. This guy, Craig Adams, who's the artist, and I think one other guy, Cappy Games, put it out. But it's great because it's almost not a game. It's almost like an interactive storybook.
Cool.
It's just, when you play the game, they tell you, please put on headphones. And I really appreciate that they went this extra mile to make a game that was about exploration, just like immersive. Just the immersive quality of the game is really good, and I really, really appreciate that. Cool. And they did a lot of attention to detail in interface, in environmental sound. I mean, I love indie games, man.
Yeah,
they're the best. So I'm only halfway through Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery.
Cool.
But it's sort of a must play. It's only like $5 if you're lucky enough to have an iPad.
Oh, it's an iPad on iPad. Okay.
And I think there might be an iPhone version.
Well, this old guy doesn't have one yet.
But it's awesome. It's really, really cool. So go to the Apple Store and see maybe they have what the iPad
Cool. What game am I thinking of where they came out with? It's like a you have a colorful like sort of cartoon army that's sort of RTS on iPad that's like scrolling.
I'm not
I
sure.
thought that's what that was, but never mind.
Oh, okay, no.
Coming back. Okay. So would you also say that's the last truly great game you've played?
It is. I think it's a great. Well, I haven't finished it yet, so I'll wait till the end.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's going to be one of the great games I played. It has this je ne sais quoi that reminds me of like games like Another World,
Oh
the
yeah,
Eric
yeah,
Chai game.
yeah.
And,
I love that game, man.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh man.
And it's got that feeling. It's beautifully animated, and so yeah, it might be in contention for that. I mean, if you want to talk AAA titles, probably. You know, again, I'm just catching up with a lot of games, and I just finished Mass Effect 2 kind of recently, and the game blew me away.
It's really great.
I mean, say what you will. There's a lot of criticism that can be made about like, are the choices linear or you know, blah blah blah. But I don't really care. It was just such a well-crafted game.
Yeah.
It's got the lore of a novel.
Yeah, it really does.
The attention to detail is unreal. It almost makes me want to quit because I don't think I'll ever make a game that good. And it's so well acted and put together. I have nothing but respect for BioWare and the people that made that game. It's a brilliant. I would dare say close to a masterpiece, if not a masterpiece.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
Is that the last game you have finished?
Yeah, that was the last game I think I finished.
Cool.
Sure.
Nice.
Sure. But yeah, there's so many more out there. I've been playing a lot of indie games actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the indie games. I was lucky enough to be for the last couple of years a judge for the IGF.
Oh, cool.
So I've had access to like a bunch of these independent games that I normally probably wouldn't have heard of.
Yeah.
And that's really wonderful. There's so many good ones out there. Monaco is one that comes to mind, which I think it's an indie fun game now.
Okay.
So hopefully it'll be coming out soon on Xbox. It's one of the best multiplayer games I've ever played.
Really?
It's like a top-down, almost like chiptune bit style robber game.
Oh wow.
Where you can gang up with people and you each have your own kind of traits and powers, and you go around robbing stuff in Europe basically. It's brilliant.
If you could name like, or do you have any all-time favorites? What are your like 3 all-time favorite games?
3 all-time favorite games. Well, I can tell you the 3 games I'm 3 all-time favorite. Well, it kind of ties into the ones I'm looking forward to also. One of my favorites, Shadow of the Colossus. Love that game.
Knew I had you on.
Yeah, did you have that? Well, that's one of the games I'm most looking forward to. Was the re-release for PS3, so I can play it nice and in HD. But also Last Guardian. Really looking forward to Last Guardian. Really looking forward to LA Noire.
Oh, me too, actually.
I was hoping. I didn't like Red Dead Redemption.
I didn't either. I seem to be the only person on Earth. I think I was maybe I thought I was one of the only people alive who did not.
It just didn't do anything for me. I really thought it felt like Grand Theft Stagecoach. But the stuff about LA Noire being more like a point-and-click adventure game evolved.
Yeah.
And I just love like the kind of Raymond Chandler, Dashiell Hammett kind of vibe, and I'm really, really looking forward to LA Noire. But anyway, other great games I played. Well, there's so many. There's so many. I mean, Mass Effect.
Like all time
great games. Well, like going way back, like I played a lot of Genesis. There were some great games on Genesis.
Yeah.
People kind of razz me because I always bring up Quackshot when I'm trying to describe the game. But
is that the Donald Duck game?
That was the Donald Duck game. Quackshot is an awesome game. There's someone out there that I'm probably going to laugh at that I mentioned that. I managed to weasel that in. Great games of all time. Wow. I don't know. It's such a tough question. I mean, there's so many. I don't even know where to begin. It's more like companies almost. Like I love the games that Remedy makes.
Yeah.
I love the games that BioWare makes.
Yeah.
I love the games. I do love the stuff that Rockstar makes.
Yeah.
I like things that are just different. I like, like Dead Space was different. I like what they did. Yeah. And I also like, because of ROBOBLITZ, I like that he has his stuff in the back.
Right.
And, I liked, I thought it was a flawed game in the end, but I liked Alan Wake too, go back to Remedy.
Yeah.
I really like, there's some other games. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many games. Like most games I play, I like to some degree. Right. But games I absolutely love. Adventure games.
Okay.
I was a big adventure game player. So all the Tim Schafer, I got to meet Tim Schafer once, and it was like, it was great to meet my hero.
Yeah.
I really, really like Grim Fandango, and I love Full Throttle. Full Throttle, one of the best games I've ever played. Sort of changed my perspective on games too. Yeah, what they could be, what they could do. Quest for Glory, Quest for Glory series was huge. I don't know. That was a point and click adventure. There were like 5 of them, I think. Okay. And it was like, I think that it was like Heroes Quest. Okay. Was the alternate title. Okay. So I was really into those games. Of course, Monkey Island and the Ron Gilbert stuff. Cool. Those were big for me.
Okay, so I'll just wrap it up. My last question for you today. Do you have a dream project? And if you do and you're afraid to talk about it,
No, I'm not afraid about it. Yeah, I have multiple dream projects. I mean, there's one, it's on our website, I think it's called Castle Assault. It's this game that kind of envisioned like back in 2006 and been trying to make it for a long, long time. And it's a game that's like construction and destruction, where construction in the sense that you build a castle out of simple building blocks, and then you take it online and you play this artillery style game that replaces, usually in these games you're doing like power and accuracy and compensating for wind. But this kind of eschews all that stuff in place of like kind of offbeat mini games and WarioWare style.
Cool. Okay.
So it's like a combo. It's like a party game almost in a way.
Cool.
And that's been a labor of love, and we've been trying to get that pitch sold for a while. Right. And I think it might happen. We're talking.
Cool.
That's kind of a dream project of mine. I think it would just be an awesome game to make. Yeah. And there's tons of other ones. Great. There's tons of other ones. Games that I would make, on my own if I had to. Games that I would love to make at Sky, and so on and so forth.
Cool, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this much. There's so much room. I mean, we're in such an awesome place games-wise, right? I mean, we're sort of just coming into our golden age almost. If it's an analogy to film in a way. Games is still very young. It's only been around for like, I mean, it's crazy to think that there were games in the 70s, late 70s, that were first-person shooters in a way, like Maze War, which I think was 73 or 77, I'm not sure. But, you can go way back with games, but it's really not that long. We're talking about 40 years, 30 to 40 years. And film has been around for over 100 years, and we're still defining the rules. We're still inventing, and there's so much room to do something different, to push the boundaries, to create the grammar of what makes a good game and how people interact with games. And I think it's such an awesome time, and I only hope that boundary keeps getting pushed forward and forward. And I think it is mostly by indie markets, but also by big games too. I mean, it's not to discredit them. There's a lot of awesome stuff. Case in point, The Last Guardian, LA Noire. There's great games that are being made by big companies. Mass Effect 3 is going to be huge. It'll be huge. So really looking forward to it. But I'm glad there's two sides to that coin. I'm glad there's the companies that are going down a path that's maybe less risk averse, but they're still doing really cool, brilliant stuff. And then there's a path that's almost going into abstract art territory, and I think that's really cool too. So I'm just happy to be a part of it, even in my small little way. And I hope that I get to contribute more.
Well, I think you will. I think with ideas such as yours, there's clearly your love of indie games is going to,
I'd say my love of games in general.
Exactly.
I don't want to. I mean, as much as I like paint yourself stuff, I don't want to paint myself as saying like, oh, if a game is trash. That's not true. That's not true at all. Because there's a lot of my favorite games are made by big companies. And so, but I just want to, because indie games, they're the underdogs. Gotta throw out my props for that. Give them a special shout out.
Well, I think I see nothing but good things for you. And,
I hope so. Thank you.
I'm so thankful that you have come today.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to have been
a part of history.
Yeah.
So, thank you all for showing up on your side of the computer. And I want to thank Tarik Soliman from Naked Sky Entertainment for being here today. This has been a great honor and a great time. And so, thank you. And this has been State of Play. Please watch us again. I'm Brandon Bales. Happy to be here. See you later. Good gaming.